In order to have a healthy relationship, you have to have the perfect partner. Now, have you spent months, maybe years with somebody just to realize this ain't it? Right? Are you tired of dating the wrong person? Are you ready for your person that you can grow old with? Right? I know a lot of us sometimes, once we get to a certain age, we start wondering if there's something wrong with us, or why aren't I, married yet or in a relationship? And it's not always you, sis, right? Sometimes you just need a better vetting process. So I'm going to give you 5 steps to help you attract your perfect partner. The first thing that you have to do to attract the perfect partner is you have to know your worth. A lot of conversations about trying to figure out if this is your person, most of those conversations have an external focus, right? They focus on what your partner can do for you. And now I think it is important to evaluate whether or not, your person can give you what you want and need in a relationship. I just don't think that's where the conversation should start. I think the conversation should start with you and you realizing what it is you have to offer your partner. Right? So think about what it is that you are going to bring to the partnership. Right? And don't just think about those external things, your accomplishments, your degrees, right? Think about your characteristics, who you are. Are you a team player? Are you a nice person? Do you have an attitude problem, right? You have to think about all of you, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? So think about what it is that you have, or identify those things about yourself that make you a good partner. And now when you identify those things, you are going to probably fall into one of several categories. After you identify these things, you may actually undervalue what it is that you have to offer. All right. But when you undervalue yourself, you actually end up settling for less than you deserve. Right? We all date at our level of our self-esteem. And so I hope that if this is you and you undervalue what you have, I hope by seeing everything that you have identified, you realize how dope you are and you never settle. Now, the other extreme you could fall into is you may overvalue what it is that you offer to your partner. This may happen if everything that you wrote down is external, your degrees, your financial stability, like those types of things. But I want you to go deeper, right? And complete this sentence. I look good on paper, but, right? What goes next? What are your areas of growth? What are other things that you are bringing to this partnership other than your accomplishments, right? It's important to know who you are to your core, right? If there was no social media, who would you be? Are you the type of person that your partner will want to spend all day with without phones? Right? All of this is important when you are, looking at what it is that you bring to the table. After you've identified everything you bring, you may appropriately evaluate what you offer. And that's great. I hope that you realize that you are dope and that you never settle. And then the last category that you could fall in, you may look at everything that you wrote down and you may feel like it's not enough. And that's okay. Don't feel bad about it, right? Work on those things that you feel like would make you a better partner, right? And so the point of knowing your worth is so that you do not settle for a relationship that is offering less than you deserve, okay? So that's the first thing that you need to do. Know your worth so that you don't settle. The second thing that you need to do to attract the perfect partner is to set relationship goals. This is when you are going to outline, like, if you could have the perfect relationship, exactly what would it look like, right? And be as specific as possible. And no, you may not get everything that you want on your list, but you won't be able to get any of it if you don't know exactly what it is that you are looking for. So make sure you know what your non-negotiables are. You know what types of things you expect from your partner. You know how often you want to communicate. You know just everything that you want in a partner in a relationship, right? Because you won't know if you found it if you don't know what you're looking for. The third thing that you do to attract the perfect partner, based on the relationship goals that you set, what does your person need to look like? And I don't necessarily mean just physically look like, but who does that person need to be to help you build that relationship? I know a lot of times when we are just meeting somebody, we are concerned about, oh my God, will they like me? But you should also be evaluating that person and whether or not they can give you what you want in that relationship, right? You need to be making sure that this person is worth your time, right? You know your worth. You know what you have to offer. You know what you want and need in a relationship. Now it's time to determine whether or not or what person can give you that type of relationship. So let's go back to your relationship goals for a second. If you said that you need financial support, right? What exactly does that look like? How much money does your partner need to make in order to give you that financial support? Is your partner, obviously your partner will have to be okay with providing financially, right? If you say you need emotional support, what does that look like? Do you need somebody to talk you off the ledge, or do you just need somebody to listen to you vent, so you know that your partner needs to be compassionate and truly care about what's going on in your life? So for all of the relationship goals that you've set, really think about what that looks like in a partner. And so you'll know, again, you won't know if you found it if you don't know what you're looking for. Go through your list, right? If you say you want to feel loved, how does your partner make you feel loved? What does that look like in a partner, right? So everything that you wrote down in your list, make sure that you know exactly how that shows up in a person. You also have to remember that relationships should be mutually beneficial. So it's not just about what that person can do for you and how they can be the person you need to build a healthy relationship. You have to make sure that you can also give them what they need. So it's not enough for them to be able to give you what you want and need. You have to be honest with yourself about whether or not you can give them what they want and need as well. The fourth thing that you need to do to attract the perfect mate is you have to determine, who do you need to be to attract that person? This person that you have created, are you the type of person that they would be attracted to? Right? If you say you want somebody that's physically fit, do you also work out? Right? Those things are important. But outside of that, you also have to think about, do you have any limiting beliefs that is preventing you from attracting your perfect partner? Right? Do you think that all men cheat? Do you have trust issues? Right? These are the types of thoughts and beliefs that, believe it or not, could keep your person away from you. So think about if there are any limiting beliefs that you have to overcome before you can actually receive, right? It's one thing to say you are ready to be in a relationship, or to say you want to. It's one thing to say you want a relationship. It's another thing to be ready for it. So you have to make sure that you are aware of your areas of growth. Now, sometimes your areas of growth, you may need to work on them before you can even get into a relationship, depending on how big they are. Sometimes you can continue to pursue a relationship just as long as you are mindful of, your thoughts, maybe your insecurities, and that you actually work on them, so that it does not hurt your new relationship. The fifth and last thing to help you attract the perfect partner, right? You have to know how to spot a keeper, right? You know what it is that you have to offer your partner. You know what you want and need in a relationship. You know what that person needs to look like. Again, not just physically look like. You know what that person needs to look like to give you that. You know your areas of growth so that you can be, a good partner to them as well. And then the last thing is, you got to know how to spot a keeper. But what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to give you the tools to determine if somebody is not a keeper. Why do I tell you how to determine if somebody is not a keeper versus somebody is? Because it is very well possible that somebody can hit everything on your list and still not be the right person, right? When we only pay attention to the things that we want, we tend to ignore the things that could damage a relationship. So these are the things that, if they do any of these things, or they probably aren't a keeper. You want to make sure that they check every box on your list of non-negotiables, right? Do you want the same type of relationship and family and your core values align, the same religion, those types of things, right? You shouldn't entertain anybody that doesn't meet your list of non-negotiables. So that's one. So if they don't hit everything on your list of non-negotiables, that ain't it, sis. The second question to ask yourself is, can you live with the things that you don't like about him for the rest of your life? All right. Write a list of everything that you dislike about your partner. And we have to assume that our partner is not going to change. And so ask yourself, can I live with these things for the rest of my life? If not, that's a red flag, and that ain't it, sis. And then the third thing, we talked about this earlier, is can you give him what he needs to, right? A relationship has to be mutually beneficial. And so if one of those three things doesn't exist, then it's probably not the one for you. So I hope this was helpful. 5 steps to attract the perfect partner. The first thing is you have to know your worth. So you know what you are bringing to the table, and so that you do not settle. The second thing is you have to set relationship goals. What is it that you want and need in a relationship? How does your partner speak your love language? What kind of support do you need? Everything. How often do you want to have sex? How often do you want to communicate? Literally set relationship goals. And then the third thing is, what does your partner need to look like to give you those things? And then 4 is, who do you need to be to attract that person that you can have that healthy relationship with? Are there limiting beliefs or insecurities that you need to work on so that you can be the best version of yourself and the best partner? And then lastly is, you got to know how to spot a keeper, right? Make sure that they hit everything on your list of non-negotiables. Can you live with the things that you don't like about them for the rest of their life? And can you give him what he needs in a relationship? Comment below and let me know what you think about these 5 steps to attract the perfect partner.